Hi, everyone. This is Tyler Martin, the host of the Friction Factor Fitness Podcast, the podcast that is dedicated to teaching busy people how to develop lifelong fitness habits and fit sustainable diet and exercise into their life. If you are enjoying the podcast, please go to my website, frictionfactorfitness.com, and sign up for my email newsletter, which will let you know about new podcasts as well as when I release new articles and other helpful content. In today's episode, I want to have a short conversation about motivation for exercising. When you normally hear people talk about why they struggle to exercise consistently, one of the most common reasons people give for failing to stick to an exercise routine is lack of sufficient motivation. They say, if only I had enough motivation to keep myself doing the right things, then I would be successful. And while it's very common to hear this explanation of why somebody can't consistently motivate themselves, I think there are some good reasons to believe that in many cases, motivation is not actually the problem, especially for people who live very busy lifestyles and they don't have a lot of extra time to tend to their physical fitness. And let's face it, the vast majority of people are living very busy lifestyles today. So in this short podcast, I want to talk about why motivation is often not the main issue that people are facing. And if you live a busy lifestyle and struggle to stay motivated, we don't really need more motivation. You need to find better ways to make the motivation that you do have go further. And I'll provide some top tips and tricks on exactly how you can do this. First, let's talk about why people think motivation is the reason that they can't consistently exercise. Well, on its face, it seems pretty obvious. Most people view motivation as some inspirational or encouraging force. They view motivation as something that increases their desire to do difficult tasks, like pushing yourself through a challenging workout. Maybe to get motivated, you sit down and watch YouTube videos of people trying to overcome a difficult challenge, or you listen to inspirational music that is energizing or maybe even aggressive. And we come away from these types of experiences in a lot of cases with an emotional jolt, followed by this notion that, hey, I'm also capable of accomplishing hard things or great things that are difficult, like exercising. And when this goes well, when it works, you get this emotional jolt that you need to power through a workout. And when we have these experiences, we do seem to be temporarily energized or encouraged in order to do the things that we wouldn't normally do otherwise if we hadn't watched the motivational video. So this is why everybody temporarily feels like they could be a heavyweight boxing champ after a few minutes of watching some inspirational movie like Rocky. This is a really familiar experience that everybody has probably had at some point, and we assume that because exercising is a hard thing to do, it is difficult, and because it's something that we don't feel like we normally have the bandwidth for in order to, take on, we don't have the motivation to do it on a day in, day out basis, then the problem must be lack of motivation. We don't have enough motivation in order to drive ourselves to do this thing consistently. Now, so many people end up in this situation of this line of thinking that I'm just discussing, where they're seeking more motivation in order to be able to exercise. And it's really the wrong approach. If you read almost any article or listen to any podcast or talk to most fitness trainers about how to exercise more consistently, you're going to get a bunch of advice about how to get more motivation. But this is where I think most people go wrong, or a lot of people who live busy lifestyles go wrong. The problem with constantly seeking more ways, new ways to motivate yourself is that we all have a limited amount of motivation to use every day. Our motivation is finite. Now, why is this? Because motivation is mostly just your desire to spend your time and energy on something, on some activity, like working or playing with your kids or making a meal or on some hobby or exercising. And since we have a limited amount of time and energy every day to use, we have to prioritize things. We have to prioritize how we want to use our time and our energy. And we have to determine which of the things that we could do are going to be more valuable since we only have limited time and energy. So this means that all of the things that you could be doing are in competition with each other. You could be exercising, or you could be making money, or doing chores, or watching a movie, or taking your kids to soccer practice. And in a lot of cases, especially for people who have a busy lifestyle, exercise gets cut because people ultimately decide that those other things are more important or more valuable in that moment than exercising would be. And this is why people end up saying, if only I had more motivation, I could exercise more consistently. But I think what they really mean when they say this is that they know that exercise is important, but other things keep getting prioritized ahead of it for one reason or another. And most of the things that keep getting prioritized in front of exercise really are important. You're not going to stop picking up your kids, for instance, from soccer practice so that you can get in a workout. You're not going to stop going to work and making money in order to exercise. So the problem for most busy people is not that they don't have the motivation to exercise. It's not that they don't value what exercise can give them. It's that they have other things that seem to be more valuable that are really important for them to do. So they know that exercise is important, but they have lots of other important things that they're also motivated to do. And exercise frequently gets cut off of this list in favor of other things that seem more important. So no matter how many motivational videos you watch or how much motivational music you listen to, trying to drum up more motivation will never solve the problem that you have limited time and energy that you're going to have to prioritize in order to use it effectively. So ultimately, consistently exercising usually is not a motivational problem. It's a time and an energy problem. Rather than trying to get more motivated, you're going to be much better off looking for ways to make exercising easier to fit into your day. And you do this by looking for ways to eliminate friction, which is the inefficient use of time or energy in a process. One of the main reasons busy people don't prioritize exercise into their average day is because they have this idea that working out requires lots and lots of time and energy. They believe that workouts have to be long, 45 minutes long, an hour long, 90 minutes long, and that they have to do this 3 to 5 times a week, and that it has to be done in a commercial gym or a fitness studio, and none of these things are true. The reality is that you can exercise much more efficiently by doing short daily workouts, and these workouts should be no more than 20 minutes. They should be done at home. They should include strength training and cardio exercises, and they should be done every day rather than doing longer workouts more sporadically, like the conventional 3 to 5 times a week for longer periods. The benefit of taking this approach is first that it cuts the total amount of time that it takes to exercise by about 50% because you don't have to pack up and drive to the gym or wait in line to use equipment. Plus, the short at-home workouts are going to start to feel much easier as you do them over time because they're going to start to become habitualized. They're going to start to turn into habits. And just like other things that are habits, like tying your shoes or brushing your teeth, your at-home workout will eventually come to feel like something that is automatic. It's just part of your daily routine, which is going to make it that much easier to do consistently. If you're wondering how long it takes for things to start to feel easier, the answer is, on average, the research shows that it takes about 66 days of repetition for someone to form a new habit. So if you can be consistent for that 66-day period, the likelihood that you're going to be able to form a habit and make exercise easier for yourself and stick with it consistently is going to be dramatically higher. So this is the big takeaway. If you can learn to do short daily workouts at home, then you can build a habit that's going to be much easier to fit into your daily schedule. If you live a busy lifestyle, the secret to consistently is not motivation, it's building habits. Building habits is how you make fitness automatic when it comes to your day-to-day life. Thanks again for listening to the Friction Factor Fitness Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode or found it valuable, please subscribe, please like, and please share with others who you think may find it helpful. Also, please check out my website, frictionfactorfitness.com, to sign up for my email newsletter, access my free fitness calculator tools, and download a free teaser of the first 3 chapters of my book, The Friction Factor, The Busy Person's Guide to Sustainable Diet and Exercise, which is available now wherever books are sold. Thanks again for listening, and stay tuned for future episodes.